My name is Jason Miller, and I am 33 years old. What happened at my sister's wedding still gets whispered about at networking events around Chicago. Picture this: 180 guests in a chandeliered ballroom, a string quartet fading mid-song, and my mother's palm cracking across my face so hard my cufflink skittered across the marble like a coin on ice. The reason? I refused to hand over the keys to my $1,500,000 penthouse during the speeches. An hour later, the doors swung open and in walked the last man my parents expected to see. Daniel Park, the CEO of Parkridge Capital and a man who controlled 38% of my father's manufacturing company. He had something very specific to say about what he'd just watched on a live stream. Let me take you back to the morning, the one I naively thought would be all about my little sister's perfect day. I got to the Lakeshore Grand Hotel at 7:30 in the morning, 2.5 hours before the ceremony. The ballroom looked like a glossy magazine ad. White roses, crystal, and soft gold everywhere. Exactly what Emily had clipped from bridal blogs for years. I'd contributed $60,000 to help bring that vision to life. No one mentioned it. Finally, my mother, Karen, said, her eyes sweeping over me not with a greeting, but with an appraisal. "Is that your work suit? I suppose it's too much to ask for you to look like a brother instead of a banker, even for one day." I smoothed my dark suit jacket and forced a smile. "Good morning to you too, Mom. Doesn't Emily look angelic?" she continued, ignoring my greeting. A real bride. The glow, the softness, the grace. The comparison was old and exhausting. For as long as I could remember, I'd been the son who was too direct, too driven, too focused on work. Emily was the delicate darling, the teacher with the sunshine disposition, the daughter my parents told stories about at potlucks. I was the lesson in "remember to call your mother." "Jason, Dad," Robert called from across the room. "Check the seating chart, will you? But don't reorganize the whole thing like you always do." The seating chart was chaos. Divorced couples jammed together, rival suppliers at the same table, and my boss's wife sandwiched between two people who hated each other. I kept my mouth shut. If I pointed it out, I'd be difficult. What they didn't know, what I'd never told them, was that I wasn't some middle manager shuffling spreadsheets. I was vice president of development at Parkridge Capital, overseeing our Asia-Pacific expansion. I'd negotiated the Hong Kong portfolio acquisition that closed earlier this year. But in my family, achievement had a way of curdling into a criticism. Too career-focused, too blunt, not family-minded enough. "Of course, Dad," I said, straightening a crooked centerpiece. "I'll make sure everything's perfect for Emily." "Family comes first, son," Dad said, appearing beside me. "You'll understand when you have your own. If you ever settle down." The jab landed where it was meant to. Soon, the others chimed in, a familiar chorus of condescension. Aunt Denise offered amused guidance on my love life, while my cousin Kyle smirked about my lack of a +1. The message was clear. My career was a character flaw and my single status a family shame. Laughter ricocheted off the crystal. I considered telling them about the dates who lied about being okay with my job, the guys who turned cold the moment they realized my title and my pay. I considered explaining that being single was a choice, not a failure. But the point would be wasted. "He's always been picky," Mom told anyone who would listen. "Too particular for his own good." During a lull, Aunt Sharon patted my arm. "So how's that little apartment, Jason? Still cozy?" Before I could answer, Emily floated over, chiming in for the group. "Oh, you mean the penthouse?" She said the word like a punchline to a joke I wasn't in on. "Last year he told us he was getting a Tesla too. His ambition is adorable." The circle chuckled, and I just nodded, picturing my Tesla with the valet downstairs. "Ambition can be unattractive," Uncle Rick added helpfully. "Nothing wrong with simple living." My phone buzzed with a concierge notification about tomorrow's delivery to my 4,300 square feet home on the 52nd floor, the place with floor-to-ceiling windows staring straight at the lake. I could have pulled up the photos, the closing papers, the article from an architecture blog. I didn't. I wasn't there to win them over. "You're right, Uncle Rick," I said instead. "There's no shame in living within your means." "See," Emily trilled. "Jason's becoming realistic." By the window, I watched the skyline where my building rose like a silver blade. 10 years. 10 years of red-eye flights, missed holidays, and deals that made industry press. That penthouse wasn't just real estate. It was proof. Proof that the kid who was told he was too much had built a life on his own terms. Every square foot was sweat and strategy. If I handed over those keys as some grand gesture, what would that make me? The family ATM with a nice smile. The screen lit with a text from my assistant, Nora, a snapshot of the sunrise from my living room. She'd captioned it, "Your sanctuary's waiting, boss." She was right. Sanctuary. The one place I wasn't the other child. Across the ballroom, Mom sang praises like a seasoned MC. Our Emily is everything a mother could ask for, gracious, kind. She volunteers. She teaches. She's a nurturer. No mention of me. I had transferred $60,000 months ago when Dad said the costs were climbing. I'd wrangled a feature for the wedding in a local bridal magazine through a friend. I'd upgraded their honeymoon suite with hotel points. I was the invisible sponsor they only remembered when the bill came due. Such a beautiful family, a guest cooed. "We're so proud of our daughter," Dad said, arm tight around Mom's waist. "She's made us so happy." Daughter. Singular. I turned away in time to hear Dad's voice dip. After the toast, he said to Mom, "We'll make the announcement about the penthouse." "You're sure Jason will agree?" she whispered. "He won't have a choice," Dad replied. "Not in front of everyone. He's too proud to make a scene." They had planned it. Not a generous surprise, an ambush. A trap baited with public pressure and family guilt. Besides, Mom added, careless as a flicked match, what does he need all that space for? It's not like he has a family. The cruelty took the air from my lungs, and then hardened into resolve. I would not play. The reception rolled into full swing. Champagne flowed. The band slid into a Motown set, and then the spoon tinged the glass. Dad stood, beaming, microphone in hand. "Before we continue," he said, voice booming, "Karen and I want to give Emily and Tyler something special." My stomach dropped. They were going to try it. "As you all know, family is everything to us," Dad continued. "There's nothing we wouldn't do for our children." Children, plural. His eyes never left Emily. "That's why we're thrilled to announce that Jason has graciously agreed to give Emily his city penthouse as a wedding gift." The room erupted. Emily pressed her hands to her chest with a look of rehearsed wonder. Tyler Brooks, the groom, wrapped an arm around her, grinning. The photographer snapped like a metronome. "Jason," Emily said into a second microphone, breathy. "Are you serious?" The penthouse. Head swiveled. I stood. The applause dimmed to a curious hush. "I'm sorry, what?" I said, voice steady without amplification. Dad's smile faltered. "Your penthouse, son. For Emily and Tyler." "This wasn't discussed with me," I replied. A wave of murmurs rolled through the room. "Don't be selfish on your sister's day," Dad said into the mic, letting the words splash on everyone. "Dad, we can discuss this privately," I said. "This is inappropriate." "There's nothing to discuss," Mom cut in, snatching the microphone. "It's a gift from the family." "It's my property," I said. "I haven't agreed to anything." The murmurs sharpened. "How could he?" someone whispered. "On her wedding day," someone else hissed. Emily's eyes glossed. "Jason, I thought you wanted me to start my life right." "Your happiness doesn't require my home," I said. "It's just an apartment, son," Dad boomed. "You can buy another." "Then you buy her one," I answered. Gasps. A hand flew to a string of pearls near the front. Cameras clicked faster. "Jason, please," Tyler said, playing peacemaker. "We'd take good care of it." "I'm sure you would," I said. "But it's not available." Mom went from pink to purple. Dad's jaw flexed. Emily's sweetness cracked at the edges. Then the calls started coming from the crowd, a chorus of my own relatives. Their words blurred together into a single, ugly accusation. I was selfish. I had too much, and Emily deserved what was mine. They still didn't believe I was successful. They believed I was dramatic. "That's generous of you to assume," I said. "But my finances aren't a topic for public debate." "Everything's money with you," Mom spat. "What about your sister's happiness? If her happiness depends on taking what's mine, maybe we should examine that," I said. The photographer's flash stuttered. Servers froze. I didn't tremble. I'd stood across tables from people who delighted in intimidation. I wasn't going anywhere. "The penthouse is not available," I repeated. My phone buzzed. 3 missed calls from D. Park, and a text that prickled the back of my neck. Saw the live stream. Standing by. Live stream. I followed the crowd's attention to Tyler's younger brother, Jake, propping his phone at a centerpiece with a neat little red "Live" glowing in the corner. The whole thing was being broadcast. Apparently, it's family time and public entertainment, I said, nodding toward Jake. He fumbled and killed the stream, but that toothpaste was out of the tube. Wait for my signal. I texted back to Daniel Park, then slid the phone into my pocket. It's just a place, Emily said into her mic, voice breaking in the way that made strangers lean into comfort. I thought you loved me. I noticed Dad checking his own phone, color draining. He was learning the hard way that public humiliation has a half-life measured in minutes, not days. 6 months earlier, during the Penthouse closing, Daniel had insisted on a gnarly clause, 14. 2. About third-party interference on corporate compensation assets. You want protection if anyone tries to force a transfer, he'd said. Families do funny things when one member's successful. He'd seen it too many times. We structured the acquisition so the unit transferred from a Parkridge property to me as part of my comp. If anyone tried to coerce me into surrendering it, Parkridge had the right to intervene to protect both the asset and me. Jason's always stubborn, Dad told the crowd, trying to smile. But family comes first. He knows that. Family doesn't ambush family, I said, not bothering with the mic. The room heard anyway. Mom rose from the head table like a storm off the lake, sequins blazing. She closed the distance, microphone still clutched white-knuckle tight. Jason Miller, she boomed. You will not ruin this day. You will not embarrass this family. I'm not the one making a scene, I said. We gave you everything. You gave Emily everything, I said quietly. I earned what I have. Ungrateful. She cut herself off, smiled a lopsided, poisonous smile, and turned the mic to the guests. Everyone, my son seems to have forgotten what family means. Perhaps you can help remind him. Give your sister the keys, Jason. Now. No, I said. As if a switch flipped, her face twisted. She stepped close. The floral perfume from my childhood came with her like a fog. The slap cracked the air. I didn't see her hand, just felt the shock and heat and heard the skitter of metal as my cufflink pinged and slid 10 feet across the marble. Silence swallowed the room. Even the kids at table 11 went quiet. I didn't touch my face. I didn't speak. I walked to the cufflink, picked it up, secured it back into my sleeve, and smoothed my jacket. It took maybe 30 seconds. It felt like 30 years. Congratulations, Emily, I said to my sister, voice even. I hope marriage brings you joy. I picked up my phone and my keys and walked out. Not rushing. Not running. Just moving like I was leaving another tense meeting. Jason, Dad called. Jason, wait. The doors closed behind me. In the empty corridor, I hit Daniel Park's number. He answered on the first ring. Green light, I said. Understood, he replied. How long to get home? 40 minutes, I said. Are you okay? I touched the heat blooming on my cheek. Execute the contingency, I said. And bring the shareholder agreement, the one Dad never read. I hung up in the elevator, the soft music absurd against the adrenaline thrum under my skin. By the time I reached my building, the video was everywhere. Jake's stream had been mirrored and shared more than 700 times already. People were clipping the slap and looping it with captions. I didn't care about the internet. I cared about documents and boards and consequences. I tossed on jeans and a sweater and pressed a bag of ice to my face. My phone buzzed. Entering the hotel now, Daniel texted. 2 attorneys with me. Then, he sees me. Your mother is yelling. I pictured it. Daniel Park in a tailored suit like a comb blade. 2 lawyers setting slim briefcases on the head table. Dad pretending he'd always respected Daniel personally, not just his capital. Then an unknown number. Jake, whispering. Dude, you need to see this. Your dad looks like he's going to faint. Some CEO guy just said your name and something about partnership agreements. Your mom screamed. Who is this guy? Someone who protects his investments, I said. And his people, I didn't add. Another call, this time from Daniel. You're on speaker. The ballroom noise dropped to a strained hush. Robert, Daniel began, voice cool as glass. I want to clarify something for everyone. Jason Miller is not some employee. He's my vice president of development. He led the Hong Kong deal that netted us $42 million. He built the Tokyo satellite into our most profitable office. He negotiated the partnership you've been chasing. That's not true, Mom blurted. He's lying. Mrs. Miller, Daniel said, your son is one of the most valuable executives in this city. The penthouse you attempted to take from him was part of his executive compensation. It carries protections that trigger when someone attempts to coerce a transfer. What protections? Dad asked, small now. Clause 14. 2, Daniel said. Moral turpitude and coercion protections. Also relevant. Your decision to assault your son on a live stream that, as of 5 minutes ago, has been viewed 26,000 times. The number hit the floor like a dropped tray. This is family business, Dad managed. The moment you made it public, it became mine, Daniel said. Jason, are you still on the line? I am, I said. Would you like to press charges for assault? The room held its breath. For a moment, all I heard was the soft feedback of the speaker. Let me explain how this works, Daniel continued, his voice resonating through the room. That video shows assault and coercion. I control 38% of Miller Fabrication, and with the support of other investors who are texting me right now, I can call an emergency board meeting and have you removed by tomorrow. Papers rustled. He had laid documents out like exhibits. This is extortion, Mom shrieked. No, Daniel said. Extortion was announcing, on microphones, that your son would surrender his property. This is consequence management. Here is what will happen. Robert, you will issue a public apology to Jason within 48 hours, acknowledge his achievements and his right to his property. Karen, you will do the same. And you will both cease any attempt to manipulate him. Otherwise, I will exercise my options as a major shareholder. Your expansion depends on my capital. Without it, you are on a path to insolvency within 8 months. This is my daughter's wedding, Mom cried. You made it a shareholder issue, Daniel said. I'm giving you 48 hours out of respect for Jason. The penthouse remains his. Any attempt to approach him about it will result in immediate legal action. He's our son, Dad said, a last, weak objection. Then treat him like one, Daniel replied. Not like a checkbook. There was a small sound, Emily's hiccuping sob. This was supposed to be my day. It still can be, Daniel said. Read the documents, Robert. Jason is not alone. He has the full weight of Parkridge behind him. The line clicked. Daniel had hung up. I stood at my windows, looking over the city as my phone lit up. Clients of my father's were already peeling off. Patterson Industries wanted a conversation. Kim Electronics called the whole thing deeply troubling. Williams Logistics terminated a $3 million annual contract with a terse email. The group chat from Tyler's family, why was I still in it, popped with messages. We're leaving. We need to rethink this union. This is disgraceful. Daniel texted, your father is in damage control. 3 more clients have concerns. Another message slid in from a number I didn't recognize. Your mom fainted when she realized who Daniel Park is to you. Paramedics called. I poured a glass of wine I'd been saving for a good day. I decided standing my ground counted. By Monday, the video had blown through professional circles. The narrative had congealed. Successful executive refuses family coercion. CEO protects executive and investment. Dad's company bled 6 contracts. The 2-year expansion plan sputtered and died. Without Parkridge's capital and with the client exodus, layoffs loomed. Emily's honeymoon didn't happen. Tyler's parents pressed pause and insisted on counseling. The gift table became a return line. The most unexpected call came from Daniel. I sat across from him that afternoon, my cheek a fading yellow under concealer. He didn't mention it. The board wants to promote you, he said. Senior Vice President, Global Operations. Your handling of a volatile situation, protecting an asset under public pressure, was textbook leadership. I got slapped at a wedding, I said. That's leadership? You maintained composure. You drew boundaries. You didn't flinch. That's leadership, he said simply. The promotion came with a 40% bump in stock options, enough to buy another penthouse if I wanted. I didn't. The one I had was enough. I donated my cash bonus to a shelter that helps men and women leave abusive households. It felt like the only right thing in a week full of wrong. Dad's apology arrived 47 hours after Daniel's ultimatum, posted on the company site and emailed to a press list. Lawyerly, stiff, and missing warmth, but it said what it needed to say. I apologize to my son Jason for my behavior at a recent family event. I acknowledge his achievements and his right to his property. Mom didn't apologize. She chose Facebook, a 1,000-word screed about ungrateful children and modern values and money-poisoning love. Screenshots flew around with captions like, mystery solved, and there it is. Emily texted a week later. You ruined my life. Tyler's family wants counseling. They say my family is toxic. They aren't wrong, I replied. I hate you, she wrote. I know. The extended family split like ice at thaw. Some parroted family first, carefully ignoring who had turned family into a weapon. Others reached out quietly with their own stories of being the scapegoat, the wallet, the one who never measured up. Kyle, of all people, texted, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't know it was always like that. Aunt Denise called and cleared her throat a lot before saying, Your mother is my sister, but she was wrong. Tyler surprised me. I didn't know about the announcement, he said. I would have stopped it. Your mom hitting you, that was assault. His voice cracked on the last word. I'm sorry. I changed the locks on my place the next day and gave building security a list of people who were permanently not welcome. Mom and Dad topped it. James, the doorman who'd watched me stagger in from 100 red ice, pulled me aside. Saw the video, Mr. Miller. Good on you, he said. My sister had to cut off family. Hard, but right. I blocked my immediate family on social media. No announcements, no flares shot into the sky. Just a quiet closing of doors. Work filled the space family left behind. 12 countries. For time zones most days. I poured myself into something I could trust. Outcomes. Daniel and his wife started inviting me over on Sundays like I'd always had a seat at their table. His daughters asked about resumes and internships and how to stand up for themselves without setting everything on fire. You're proof we don't have to shrink, the older one said. It felt better than any applause. 3 months later, I mailed my sister a wedding present at last. A voucher for 6 months of family therapy. An unknown number texted me a photo of it with, This is insulting. It's necessary, I sent back. Then I blocked that number too. 6 months after the wedding, the dust settled like snow on a street you don't walk down anymore. I was thriving, featured in a 40 under 40 list for my global work. The article didn't mention the wedding. Dad's company stabilized at a smaller size. Through a contact, I heard he'd started therapy. It was late. It was something. Mom doubled down on her favorite story. She was a victim of a selfish son corrupted by corporate culture. Most people stared back blankly and changed the subject. They'd seen the clip. They knew. Emily's marriage to Tyler lasted 4 months. The counseling peeled back layers neither of them wanted to see. Expectations built on taking, not making. They divorced quietly. And me? Every morning, I watched the sun climb over the lake, coffee hot in my hands, the city brightening like a promise through glass. My home was still my home. The silence inside it was not lonely. It was peaceful. Not the peace of no sound, the peace of no threats. Here's what I learned from that day in a ballroom with too many flowers and too much pretense. Blood doesn't make family. Respect does. Success isn't a communal property line people can step over when it benefits them. You don't owe anyone your hard-won life because they share your last name. And boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. If someone in your family demands you shrink to make them more comfortable, remember, your dignity isn't up for a vote. My price for this lesson was high. I lost the fantasy that the people who raised me would one day see me clearly. In return, I gained self-respect, chosen family, and a life built without asking permission. The quiet, unshakable peace of my own self-respect. If this hit home, please like and subscribe for more true karma stories, and drop "Boundaries Matter" in the comments to let me know you're with me.